Hey, you are here live on the Very Opinionated Show with I'm your host, Jay. The I am. I have some special guests here tonight, Mr. S, and a good friend of mine, co-worker as well, Miss Jamar. I would call her Miss Amazon. That's what I'm gonna call her. And before we get started, we got to pay some bills. These views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host and the guest and do not necessarily reflect those of any affiliation or organization. This content is for informational and entertainment purpose only and should not be considered professional advice. Listener discretion is advised. Now, I'm going to jump right into it because I'm just kind of uh, curious about, from your opinion, Jamal. And I'm gonna give you an example, and this is about women choices, and I ain't talking about just just with their partner or anything like that.
Mhm.
Is that when when you like I'm trying to make a decision to have a baby or don't have the baby or whatever. But one concern that I want to ask you, and just so I can get your from a woman perspective here, and let's just say hypothetically speaking, someone took advantage of you by force and ended up getting you pregnant. My question is, from any but you from your opinion, would
Mhm.
you keep the baby or will you give it away or will you abort it? If it
I,
was I'm talking about from
for
you.
me myself, I traditionally do not believe in abortion. I've never. I don't. I feel like you did what you did. Take care of it. But in
Okay.
that situation, that's quite a bit different. I can't. I mean, honestly, I think I would probably. I don't. I would. I would say to give it up for abortion. I mean, give it up for abortion. Give it up for adoption. But
Okay.
at the same time, I just know how I am when it came to my kids. Like from the moment I
Right.
heard the heartbeats, that was it for me.
That was it.
And that's coming from somebody that never even wanted kids. So
Right. And
I,
you didn't want kids?
no,
You didn't want no kids? You sounded like Steph Curry
no,
wife now.
no,
You
zero. I
sound
was
like
the oldest of four kids. Kids for what?
you, you was like, no. See,
And
and
I was
I,
when
t-
I was sorry. I had my daughter when I was 25. So I was like, shoot, if I don't have, I'm good.
right, right. So, but
I
what changed that? I mean, because how many you got? What? How many kids you have?
I have three.
You have three.
Mhm.
See, okay, that's my
I mean, my daughter's dad and we got married. Um, Things just changed. My opinion just kind of changed. I
it did.
mean, yeah,
I mean, of course, I got to ask, why did it change?
it changed because, well, number one, because we had been friends for so long, and then it was like we fell in love, and it was like, okay, well,
Right.
okay, let's try it, let's do it. So yeah,
Rod, I'm good that you're coming in, man. Glad that you're here. We talking about choices, the different choices men make and women make, whether it's having a baby or being in a relationship, So Jamal was just kind of hitting on for her opinion that, if uh she was taken advantage of, would she you know, keep keep the baby or abort it or, give it up for adoption? And pretty much she said adoption, because she don't believe in abortion. Now, uh, I got, S, you got to kind of like chime in because I want your opinion on that in the sense of what do you think? Because I know we talked about it
Mhm.
and we were trying to get an understanding from a female perspective that
Right.
because I know from a guy is like, nah, I'm not gonna keep no. But tell me what you think about that.
I think, I would say there's maybe multiple different reasons, maybe multiple different, I would say, scenarios,
Right.
or I would say, what's the appropriate word? I'm trying to think now. Uh, I think maybe because women are biologically created differently than us. I
Correct.
think the
Correct.
moment life starts growing in them, they grow that connection. They feel that connection because it is within them.
Right.
From a guy's perspective, I'm thinking like, hell no. If a
Yeah.
man forced himself on a female and stuff like that, like who knows what she's gone through, like logically, I guess this is just me as a man talking, and we oftentimes come from a place of logic, and women
Right.
are more emotional, and there's like a lot of things that we don't really understand in a sense from a guy's perspective.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Right.
I would say, yeah, in my opinion, if a woman is raped like that, I would say like absolutely. First of all, you don't know, is this a person, a stranger? Is that somebody you know? Is it a family member? Is it
Right.
somebody like your friend or something like that done that to you? Like how do you go about it? Like from a logical perspective, I would say hell no. If someone's from if I was a
Right.
female, something like
Right.
that, no,
Okay.
absolutely not. Like you
Okay.
should
Now
you
watch this. And I ain't mean to cut you off, but watch this, Rod. Tell me if your daughter, if you had a daughter, and she got taken advantage of and became pregnant, then what? As a father, how would you respond or try to get her to make a decision on whatever the case? You want to abort or you know what have it? Because we don't believe in killing and maybe give it for adoption. Give me your input on that.
I'm sorry, but can y'all hear me? Because
Yeah,
I
I
got
can
that.
hear you. I ain't mean to
Okay.
put you in the hot seat already.
I think my internet is borging out over here. So give me 1 second.
All right. But I mean, until Rod gets situated, I mean, from my perspective, because like I said, of course, I got a 7-year-old daughter, but you
Hmm.
know, of course, growth, and I'm coming from, uh, logic as well as, uh, man, there ain't nowhere in the world you're gonna have this, you know, by some
exactly.
rascal, and I think even from a perspective, even if she knew him, Cindy, even if she, oh, this is my friend, and that what happened, and
Exactly.
it wasn't invited, was it, you
Exactly.
know,
Exactly. Absolutely.
Right.
I agree with you.
from a father, but no, we're not gonna do that. Well, and then, it could be the parent on his side could get upset and like, no, this is gonna be our grant. No, ain't gonna be nothing like
No,
that.
I don't think
If he
so.
took
No,
it by
yeah.
force, if he took it by force, that's
Ooh.
just,
Right.
so, Rod, I know you coming in. I'm gonna put you back on the spot. So, what do you think?
Now,
If
now, I'm sorry for being late. It's nice to meet all
no, you
y'all.
good,
What's up,
you
Max?
good. You're a
Okay, but
working man.
now, now it seems like are y'all talking about uh
What?
women women being raped? Or what can
Right,
you
right. If a
okay.
woman's been taken advantage of, you know, uh, Jamar has said that she probably, under the circumstances, she would not abort it, but she would give it up for adoption. Now,
Wow,
that that's my
yeah,
opinion. I think with every woman they wouldn't keep the baby, or I would say they rape his baby. They would not keep it.
mm,
I
That
know,
just
I know some that would definitely abort the baby.
Yeah.
I just that's a really touchy and very case by case type. You know what I'm saying? Like I initially, yeah, you would feel like, no, this is crazy. But like I'm telling the first from the first time, even I remember when I got pregnant with my son, my middle son, and I was just like, this is not even the best situation right now, and I really don't. But it was like once I heard his heartbeat, that was it.
that was it. You
It
so
was
you
that was
already made up in your mind, like, I
I
heard the heartbeat. I know
that
I'm
was
gonna
it.
have him, and that's it. It
mm.
wasn't no, oh man, should I
No,
keep him?
no,
Should I give him? And see, and that's where, like Ed said, that we was from a man perspective, we'll probably look at you. Even if we had women friending that happened something to them, and we say, I'm sure you're going to give it up. Listening to you, the emotion part. That's because, like I said, we don't put the emotion into something like that,
Right.
or the act. So it is a touchy subject, and it is a case by case. Because we even talked about one time abortion. Well, how come it's okay for the woman to request the abortion and not the man?
Exactly.
And but you had two willing participants in this act in bringing the child, and he's saying, well, I don't want it, but she's saying she does.
Yeah.
And it can be from a perspective of he's not ready, and he know he's not ready to take care of no child, but she decided to go ahead and do it. But I believe
what precautions did he take though?
Well,
I mean, and don't get me wrong, like,
right? Did both of them use precaution, or just
right?
I have to feel like both of them take two to tango, and
yeah.
and so I believe decisions have to be made, choices have to be made. Like, okay, I'll give you a good example. For my baby, we was cautious at first. I'm telling you that, but we was cautious. and I'm talking it like no, and she was like, no, we're gonna. I need you to go to the Walgreens and get that. I forgot the name of that pill. That day after pill.
Oh yeah.
And okay, and then we didn't. She didn't request it one time. I mean, I was cool, but she knew that I wanted to have one at least for my own. I can say, instead of other kids calling me dad, that I'm not their real dad. Have my own. And once that decision was made, she was comfortable. I was comfortable. It was no big thing. It was just okay. We pregnant. Let's go with the flow now.
Right.
I just believe, of course, God has power over life and death, and He had the last say so. And bam, 7 years, man. This girl is amazing. She keeps me on my toes. She keeps me young. Actually, to be honest, and I think S heard me say this a couple of times. She basically saved my life.
To be honest, it got me through so many different. Oh my goodness! So they're very intuitive and very attentive and very correct. And it's like you don't think they can tell something's wrong with you, but they know. Yeah. And they'll come up and hug you and just give you extra love, and they'll like. There's not a day that there's not something funny going on in this house with these boys. Like, I need that.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, sometimes you think about, dang, what if I didn't? What would be different in my life?
Correct.
But honestly, I wouldn't do it any different. I can't even lie.
And I know S and Rod T don't have no kids, so
you don't have any kids? Oh my goodness.
Nah.
I have one.
Jamal, see, this is my nephew. Now he about tall as us too. So of course he took out his granddad, but I mean, I just think, I think Rod kind of like fed off of me in the sense of watching how I was coming up and how I pretty much rolled. I just didn't, because when it's my time to, settle down, okay, I settle down. But if I know I wasn't gonna settle down, I'm not gonna bring no child.
Right.
I had plenty of opportunity to bring, but I'm like, oh no, we're not doing that. No. We're gonna stay protected, and we're gonna stay strapped up, the whole 9 yards, But again, now this go back to my other question for the men, is that we have to choose a partner, a good partner that we can see ourselves with for a long time or forever. Say, this the girl I want to have kids with.
Yes.
Because I see she's a good manager of her home, over herself. She take good care of herself, both mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. I don't want nobody who is all over the place. But by me saying that, sometimes it's hidden. You they don't show the whole
Yeah.
themselves until afterwards. Shannon, you shaking your head. Come on, tell me why you shaking your head.
Who,
Man,
me?
No, yeah, Max.
I mean, like I said, I entertain. I tend to entertain crazy from time to time, so I kind of get it. uh, but this is the thing, though. Have to like you kind of have to know yourself. As like I'm still fairly young. And to me, I have to be very selective. Like I have to be very selective in, if I'm gonna have kids and who the mother of my kids is gonna be.
Correct.
Now, they're women I can entertain, I can have fun, but I know that that's exactly why you use the protection. You gotta make sure that on both
Right.
ends, people are protected because like I know for a fact I don't want to have kids with her. I know for a fact that like
Right.
she is not that material, and I'm very
Right.
honest about it. Like, but this is the thing though, as a man, I have to also be very honest from the get go as to what I want. You know,
Right.
and I just come off as that, and if it's cool, if it's yes, it's no problem. I'm always gonna find another one. But this is the
Right.
thing though, like whenever it comes to having kids, I see that as a great responsibility, right?
It is.
And to me,
Trust
it's
me.
like
Oh, it is.
it's one of those, exactly, yeah. So it's one of those things where like I as a man, I have to like figure out, first of all, am I mature enough? Am I
Yeah.
capable enough to make
Right.
that happen? And first of all, who's the woman of my kids going to be? First of all, I'm not going to have a child with nobody who likes emotional maturity. First of all, the woman who's gonna have my kids has to be emotionally mature. She has to be the type of woman that I would love to have my kids with, that I know for a fact my kids are going to be in good hands, that I know
Exactly.
that she's going to
Exactly.
take care of them well, that they're going to be fed, that they're going to be, she's going to be mother, for them, that every child deserves to have. That's very important to me. So, and me as a man, of course I have to be also in that mindset. Okay, I'm not only a spouse, I'm not necessarily your partner, but I'm also a provider. I'm also somebody, who has to be as well matching that level of emotional maturity. That way that
Right.
my child grows up in a happy family, in a steady family, steady
Right.
household, regardless of what's going on, that, mom and dad are still there together, and, create that example for kids.
Right.
So
Right.
I think it takes a lot of time, and I feel like most of us, we don't know, and I don't think we will ever know. And it's the best way I can explain it, it's like one of those things, I imagine it to be, it's like one of those things where like you just, same way that you go shopping, you're just looking around, you're not looking, and then you see something that catches your eye, and like
Right.
you want that outfit, or that's the thing for you. Well, I feel like that's the same way it is with like our finding our our better half. It's one of those
Right.
things where it's like we can say, well, I'm dating with intention to meet somebody or stuff like that, but it doesn't really happen that way.
Yeah,
I
because
think
I just don't believe in wasting people time. Now, look,
exactly.
we're gonna take a quick break. Rod, I want you to come in and chime in on what S just said. Y'all good? We're going to a break. All right, we are back here live on the Very Opinionated Show with Jamar, my Amazon friend, and Rod T, and my main man, Mr. S. Hey, come on, Rod, come on and chime in on your opinion on this
I
choice.
just want to say, I appreciate you having me on the show, Unc, and it's nice to meet you, Jims. I see it's my first time
Yeah.
talking to you, and I'm gonna agree with everything S just said, but I want to touch on something Jim said. Jim said earlier, if I can, Unc. Um, she said that when y'all was talking about contraception and what type of precautions everybody using.
Right.
I agree totally, but just when you think of precaution, you think of condoms or you know anything else related to the act of sex. But like, if I could just go a little deeper, the type of precautions I think we should take is, like y'all said, getting to know each other. Do y'all want kids?
Mhm.
How do y'all want to raise the kids? Do y'all want them to be religious? What kind of school? How y'all want them, go be
Right.
educated? It's a lot of uh, factors come into play when selecting a mate. And with abortion, do y'all both agree on that? It's just where y'all gonna raise them. Are y'all, do y'all have uh, good relationship with our parents, the grandparents? Are they gonna be a part in it? Like, it's a lot that goes into selecting a
Right.
mate, and speaking as a man, you know, I remember watching this. We were, with this old school dude was like, back in my day, you can't get no romance without finance. So as a man, I think you should have your money together. Y'all heard this. Why y'all laughing? Just saying. So
Oh Lord, have mercy.
yeah. So
Wait a minute, wait a minute,
as a man, if
wait a
your
minute,
money not right,
Rodney. Jamal, is that
you
a
know.
good saying? Is that right? Cause I want to know. Cause boy, y'all
Can,
women,
can,
boy, y'all, if he
can,
ain't
I,
got
can I
that
say
paper,
Can I say one more
That
thing, Unc?
is not.
come on,
I see you
Rodney.
killing the hat. You killing the hat. I'm telling you, me and my brother, you was always our favorite, best dressed Unc. I'm telling you, you killing it. But that's all I would say.
That once again, I mean, that wasn't a deciding factor for me. Um, that I was. I'm not like that. I mean,
I know you now. I'm just, but I gotta ask you for
I
your
don't.
from a woman perspective. And I know you know other
I'm
women that
intelligence is huge with me. If
right,
you're not intelligent, I will get bored like real quick.
right,
You will
yeah.
lose my interest. You be like,
You
Quick
need to
"Mm,
have
test
that
to
mental
learn.
stimulation in a sense.
Yeah,
huh?
You need to have that mental stimulation in a sense.
I have to.
Yeah,
If I don't,
absolutely. Yeah,
it's nah. I'm good. I don't. Yeah, that for me that comes first.
of course.
Because I mean, you may be growing and you may be evolving into the man that you know what I'm saying? Like
right,
Exactly.
you know, as well as me myself, So I can't ask somebody to do something for me that I've never done for myself.
right,
I
right.
mean, I can't,
Now
but
let's switch gears. Now I gotta jump on to the say what current events and stuff that we got going on here. Now, of course, uh, we see what's going on in Israel and with the, Palestine and stuff like that. Uh, I'm not keen on uh, speaking well about our government because, of course, they shut down. A lot of people not getting paid. You work in any type of government job, you just not getting paid. Now, Rod, I know you know a little something about this, but let me tell you, would you continue to work in a I guess a government entity where you not getting paid, or are you going to still come to work, or you just like, man, I'm not coming to work until y'all pay me? What would you say on that? I think you
That
can.
was to me, Unc.
Yes. Yes.
That's a tricky proposition. If I heard you right, if I was working for the government, would I still come to work if I wasn't getting paid? Man, I don't know, Unc. That's hard because you brother got to have some finance. So I mean, I couldn't see myself personally doing it. I mean, from what I do know, I think they say once they get it taken care of, you're going to get the back pay, right? I don't know if that's true.
That came up, that conversation
BBB.
came up. And it's hard because you still have to tell your kids, well,
Mm.
you know, the lights may have to get cut off, or we might have to get some assistance and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And especially if you teaching your kids, hey, work hard,
Mm.
you get, and then this happens, and what can you tell them? Well, just have faith and trust God, and of course that's always good. But
Mhm.
do we say, okay, I just got to start making some other adjustments? Me, I know me. Of course, I'm going to lean on God, but at the same time, I think God give me enough wisdom and sense to say, okay, just try to find something else temporarily until they
Mm.
correct all of this. Now, I'm going to speak from anything that man got their hand into it's just not going to turn out right. It's
Mm.
never right. It's just never right. Now, Jamal, tell me what you think about that, where your federal agents and your TSA workers, they people just can walk right through because they can't stop them, because they're not really getting paid. And do you think something like that would kind of like raise the brow of terrorists to say, oh, I got opportunity to get on the plane now and do the
I
same thing?
mean, yeah, they've done it
Mm.
when there were TSA agents. So I would assume so. I mean, honestly, that was my one of my first thoughts. I'm like, so they just out here with no security at the airport, huh? Okay,
Right.
you just
And Cindy, you work at the airport. So,
I do.
and
you work at international or hobby?
Uh, International.
Mm, I was just
Yeah.
out on Monday, Tuesday.
Mm.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, the other day I saw a little sign in front of this strip club that says, now employing, government workers. So I'm like, if I was a government worker, you can find me at Chippendales. I still gotta pay their bills. I still gotta make them money. That's just
Hey,
kind of the
well, you get it
reality of
done.
this. You
You
know,
will get paid.
he said,
I'm
get it
gonna
how
get
you
paid
live.
in cash too.
Yeah,
Cash
and
too.
cash. Ain't
So,
nobody throwing no debit card up there.
but you know what? Like honestly, I don't really feel bad for TSA agents because it's like man, every time I try to fly, they always look at my passport, they look at my name, and they're like, "Step aside, sir." And like,
You
I'm
get
like,
searched. Yeah.
man, I'm like, I get
What?
no break
Yeah,
from them.
he
Like,
had. Yeah, he has one of them long last names with every alphabetical in the.
yeah, apparently, so they look at it and they're like, this is a little suspicious, something 9/11 ish. Yeah, let's put them aside.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then like, like the crazy thing is, it's like how would
Not it.
say,
Yeah.
especially since it's a government agency, I guarantee you they're gonna have to pay them back. It's just a
Mhm.
matter of when,
Yeah.
but
Right.
they are
Right.
gonna get back pay. But in the meantime, if it was me, like I said, Chippendales, man, you still gotta pay them bills,
Yeah. You
while
gotta pay them
while
bills.
the government is shut down. I'm like, hey, I'm not going over here until I get paid. But at the same time, I need to get a side hustle. You need to make some money,
Mhm.
so you know, you should look in a side hustle while you're on
You better do Lyft, Uber, something.
exactly anything really. But
Bartending, waitressing, security. Yep, I've done all those.
It's plenty. I
exactly.
mean, for me, you know how we work because of the school schedule, and
Hmm.
even when we had, I think that week off, I did lift.
Hmm.
I had to go do some lift, and it paid little bills, but it's just the idea is that you got to stay mobile, and
Hmm.
Mm.
the school is like what 184 days. I'm
Right.
100 I'm 220, still leaving me 145 days not working. So, but I'm trying to see why in the world is considered a whole year of me have to pay into tax when I don't work the whole year at all. I work
Hmm.
220 days and that's it.
And
And I have to
barely
leave.
that. You see, we got
Right,
almost a whole 3 weeks off for Christmas.
right. And got a week coming up in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
So, I just think uh this government that, and well, I said this administration uh, sucks. Let me just say that they don't they're not responding like they need to respond for the
Mm,
American people. I just say it like that, and I'm saying both sides. You mean to tell me we got Democrats where y'all can't come up with a decision to help the American people? That's one of the issues that I have. Period.
mm.
Now, Rob, what do you think about uh, how we has been, I guess, portrayed, I say, in the public eye or in the media from in the African American community, how we've been saying we don't participate like we used to, and like of course the voting and the marching. I think you know I'm gonna answer that one, but I want you to come in and chime on it uh, because it's not like when your granddad and your great granddad was alive. I mean, even for me, it was like how you see certain things
Mhm.
happening, and the excellency of your community, and all of a sudden it's just going down to the dogs now. So tell me what you think about it. Have you seen any growth in your generation and then the generation to come? And then I'm gonna ask Jamar that.
You growth as far as what you say the media? I barely heard you.
Growth spiritually, growth
Ah,
financially, economically
okay,
wise, social wise, uh, even education wise. Tell
okay.
me
Well,
what you think about that.
I say this like in with my generation, now as as a let's say compared to when you was my age, now we got social media. So you look at you look at social media, you just see highlights of everybody's life. So
Correct.
if you judge it according to that, everybody winning. But behind the scenes, I'm not gonna say everybody, but it's quite a few people struggling. Because you're trying
Right.
to put up you're trying to put up a facade and all that. But I'll say this: like the people that I know, in my group and my buddies, they all hardworking individuals, and
Right.
like as far as I know, they everything's going copacetic. But you never know what's really going on, behind somebody's doors when you're not there. But
Correct. Correct.
from what I see, we've made strides. And you know, I think you asked also about the generation under me, right? Like,
Right.
okay, so I mean, the way technology is especially with AI, everything's changing. I think the people under us are like, it's a lot of opportunity out there. I think a lot of these people are not, what's the word I'm looking for? Just locked into the way that we did it and the way that generation did it. Like they willing to try something different and expand their knowledge. Maybe maybe not work a traditional job for 30,
Right.
40 years.
Hold your
They
thought on
looking.
that one because
Okay.
for me, this generation, because it's like to me that they got this society, these kids locked in as a brainwashing method, and is
Mm,
really keeping them from actually uh,
Mhm.
being just a normal, you know, uh, young man, young woman. Uh, well, you mentioned AI. It's like they had them to do all the work. My daughter asked me, "Well, what would you call them little thing we turn Jamar? To go look up a person in the name at the library. See, they can just go to Google now.
Oh, the index,
yeah.
The index Rolodex.
right?
Cindy, we had that. We didn't have, and but see, her sons, they got AI. Write
Yeah.
this 500 page, you
He
know.
asked me how to
Yeah.
spell words, and I look at him like, "Boy, go get a dictionary." He was Siri, height. Nah, you better not. You getting a whole whooping.
Right. So
Yeah.
it,
No.
it's different. Like from like my nephew, where he came like to me like on the end of it's like they fit to change over into all that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, as you, I know you graduate from U of H, and man, and you. I know I ain't gonna say you used it because I don't think you did because the stuff you were telling me, I'm like, boy, you got to go to work, you got to get on that bus, you got to
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
do this to try to go to class, and you
Exactly.
know, So now I'm saying, Jamal, because you got the most kids and you got the young boys, and I met one of your sons, but that boy, I said, boy, I don't know about Bush High because some of them, like to me, that Bush don't really do to me. They don't teach them kids like they taught us. That's just
And
my
I don't.
opinion.
Yeah.
First of all, they changed the whole curriculum. They've changed the
See,
books. I've talked to teachers because I'm like, there's. I took statistics.
Hmm.
There's no reason I shouldn't be able to teach my kids anything.
right,
But I'm sitting here frustrated as you are over some math homework. Nah, they've changed. They've changed the methods. They've changed. I'm like, what are these squares? Where these squares come in at? What they're taking. They've taken slavery out of the books, like as if it never happened.
right.
Um, they're not, and then also with the social media, I think a lot of
Hmm.
it has to do with that too. They've taken a lot of the disciplinary action out of
Hmm.
it. They're
Yes,
pretty much pacifying kids with stuff and
Yeah.
not, you know what I'm saying, not really
right,
giving them the discipline that they need. And discipline, doesn't always mean that you put your hands on them. I mean, you talk
right.
to them and you direct them and redirect them and tell them what they need to hear.
Accountability.
These kids
Eh,
so soft now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You catch a whole lawsuit from trying to tell them what they did wrong.
Well,
It's
it's certain lingo I found out that
hmm
we can no longer use. Now watch this. When I worked for I'm sorry, city of Houston.
hmm
I can't remember that mayor name. She is right at the tip of my tongue. Help me out.
Anise.
Say it again.
Is it anise? Something
Anise
like
Parker. There you go. Anise
Yeah.
Parker.
Yeah. I remember
She
that.
sent out a memo to every pastor, every minister, not to talk about homosexuality,
not to talk about
Wow.
and
homosexuality.
not to preach on it. You can't bring up no scriptures, and we was like, I just know she didn't really say that, and sure enough, she did. So stuff like
I
that.
mean, it's
To,
in the Bible as
exactly. So, but
Hmm.
she didn't want us to talk about it. So that lets me know that the time was changing, and I'm saying, okay, well, what are we doing here? What do we?
Hmm.
I mean, you know, from a basic perspective, how did everybody get here? The only way we got here was through a man and a woman. That's period.
mhm,
You can put a bunch of women on, and nothing gonna happen.
mm-mm,
Nothing is going to happen. They're gonna be just them until men and women come together and really understand that those that are in power is trying to change the
Hmm.
dynamics of family.
family.
And I got a problem with that when you're trying to break away and break up family. And this ain't got nothing to this ain't got nothing to do with race or anything like that. It's perspective for all the families. Because if you see it now, uh, it becoming a detriment to way how men are
Hmm.
being raised. I'm talking about boys
Yeah.
to men
Mhm,
and
Hmm.
young ladies. Being from young ladies to women and motherhood as well as fatherhood, and it's like
Hmm.
all of that is being taken away, and
Yeah.
you're only focusing on self and well you be the boss and that's it, be independent and that's it. Well, to me it's not a good I guess it's not a good fit in what we really, because you can ask 100 people, 100 families, like, hey man, I prefer to have my family together, but because XYZ I cannot have it because government say XYZ. And to
Hmm.
me, when you're not disciplining your kids accordingly and not letting someone from the outside interfere with how you raising your kids. And like I said, we're not perfect, but I believe, our kids was born to us for a reason and for a purpose.
Hmm.
At
mhm.
that moment of time in life, God knew that. Uh, now, you know, as I'm gonna ask you, you know, it's different. where you from, how people was raised compared to people that lives here in the States. And I know you know the difference. You like, boy, they getting away with too much stuff.
I bet.
Like, come from a place, where they firmly believe in, how to say, where it's firmly implemented, traditional system, man and a woman,
Right.
It's a poor place, so a lot of times, like, once you get out of high school, I think that's like your next achievement to look for in life, get married. So, and oftentimes people get married young, like 18, 19, start having kids, because that you don't really have much anything to do unless you have like rich mom and dad who can put you through college. Still, even
Right.
with the college degree, it's like there's no jobs in the entire country, so it's like a different thing. But to kind of like get back on the subject, they firmly believe marriage is between a man and a woman. They firmly believe that man is the head of the household, the provider. The woman should be the one to make home feel like home. She
Right.
should be the one responsible, taking care of kids. And I'm not saying that like a man shouldn't be involved as well, but there are those roles where certain things are expected of you in that role that you hold.
Correct.
And if God forbid, if you identify as different, you might want to stay in the closet for that. I'm just saying it, and I'm not trying to like make a joke out of it, because it is a serious
Yeah,
thing.
but
It's one of those things where it's like, unfortunately, in a way, there are people who get hurt and killed because of that, disowned
Right.
by their families, but they believe in structure of the family, and you cannot tell them otherwise. There's no government that's going to tell them otherwise. They stand for it, they stand by it, they're willing to lose their life over that. And
Right.
I think what's happening here is more of a psychological warfare. I feel
Correct.
like and that's exactly what it is. And it comes in different stages without us even realizing that. I think these newer generations, they are blessed because they have plethora of information at their hands,
Right.
which is why they're growing up way faster, and they're way smarter than the generations before them. But at the same time, if we're looking at political culture, political structure the way it is now, it gives all of us, how I would say, with social media exposure and everything else, we are not really focused on the things that matter, because it's like
We're not.
someone might sneeze the way you don't like, and you're gonna go tweet about it, or you're gonna like whine and complain about it, and you're gonna get your feelings into it without really
Right.
focusing at the things at hand. And a lot of times, I think older generations benefited from the lack of it, because there were certain how to say subjects that were just out there that wanted you to be focused on, and then
Correct.
from that you could make a better decision, rather than with all this bombardment of information, misinformation, misguidance, this rage and hatred and all of these things and likes
Right.
that pretty much all these conglomerates, these huge corporations, they benefit off of that. They want you to feel triggered. They want you to feel certain type of way. That's why they're going to say it. That's why they're going to put certain words in to trigger you, to make you feel certain way. And it's their way of making money, right? And it has not really nothing to do really with where we as people, society, we want to go, where we want to be led. And it doesn't give us the opportunity to choose correct people to guide us in the direction that we all ideally like to be.
Right.
And with all of this bombardment and misinformation and all these plethora of things going on, that's literally what creates the divide. And these corporations, I would say, they benefit from certain points of view. Well, so although traditionally most people believe this way, now we're gonna exploit this, or we're gonna enforce this. And that's just, those are just like small little nuances that create that divisiveness, and it just makes things confusing for everybody. So
now, Jamal, I'm gonna give you the floor after this one. We're gonna close out, and we're gonna hold for the 30-second break. We are show with my guests, Mr. S, Rod T, and my good friend, Miss Jim, Miss Amazon. I'm going to give you the last point. If you want to make any statement, just what we've been talking about, if you want to close out with something, go ahead.
I mean, I just agree with Mr. S. What he said. I've been saying for the last few years, like I feel like there's too much distraction. Everybody's looking at these little things going on. I'm like, that's distracting you from the bigger picture. They're really trying to distract you from what's really going on. So, I mean, I've always been neutral when it comes to politics, things like that.
Right,
Well, I don't vote. I don't. I also don't complain. So, I mean,
right. And
when it,
I agree with you 100%. Come on,
yeah.
Rod T.
Mm-mm.
Come on, Rod T.
Okay, my bad. Um, first, I want to appreciate you for having me on the show, Unc. I know I've struggled streaming over here. My internet been tripping all day, but
He
No,
says
I
struggle
can
how
tell.
streaming.
you do it, But I just want to touch on what Ed said about how it is where he's from and and all of that. Like me personally, I am a traditional and old school, old fashioned and all of that. But like I also wouldn't want to be forced to think anyway. I think we should all make the decision on how you want to live your life. Because that's what God tells us in the Bible. Every
Right,
man has free will. Every woman has free will to make their own decision. I wouldn't if somebody's forcing you to do something that's not genuine. If you feel like there's going to be a penalty or you know your life
correct.
or whatnot. So I wouldn't like me personally. I wouldn't want a woman that's forced to be with me because of where we live. And I don't want that. I want a
Right.
woman that's choosing to be with me and we build a life together. Just for example.
Yeah, and let me just say this here so we can go ahead and close out. Anybody that know me, I don't never pass judgment. That's not my call. That's not my makeup because I'm not the one that throw the brick and hide my hand. Because I understand that we all share the same imperfection in all of us. We flawed with something. Uh, that's why you have uh, plastic surgeons. Somebody they don't like their nose. Well, you have somebody going to fix it. And I think from a mental perspective is that we have to look in the mirror every day when we get up in the morning and say,
Mm.
well, how can I be a better version of myself than I
Mm.
was on yesterday? And if individuals don't do that, uh, you can't say that you're a growing person because you're not. You have to make growth every day and changes. Have to become better. You know, and like I said, people when you have people in your lives, children or spouse or family members, you have to be that example for them as well because we just don't live for ourselves. Period. Well, I'm glad that y'all came with me tonight, and glad that y'all came. And we're gonna do a shout out to the Quality of Life podcast. I hope them guys continue to do great things over there, Rod T. What's your partner in crime,
Beside
Messiah
both,
Messiah
shout out
Boss.
to
All right, hey guys, thank you for being here tonight. Hold for the commercial. Thank you guys. Thank y'all.